Hi, and welcome back to IVF Daddies. I'm Richard Westoby, and today we have a wonderful friend of mine, Dr. Brooke Freeman. Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome back. We've had you before,
Thank
and we're
you.
excited. It's like, yay!
I'm excited
you
to be
came back.
Of course.
How many eggs would you say somebody should freeze? And how many embryos should somebody?
The number of eggs really depends on a woman's age. Our fertility as women's unfair. We're born with all of our eggs. We lose them over time, and the eggs we're born with accumulate genetic mutations as we age. It's not a very good system. I don't like it. I didn't come up with it, but that's what we're stuck with.
We're going to blame you.
Well, that is a really important biology to understand about why it's much harder for us to get pregnant as we get older, right? That's the whole reason we're even talking about egg freezing, to try to stop the clock. So there's a chart that I show every woman that I speak with about egg freezing that talks about the probability of live birth relative to the number of eggs frozen and the age at which they're frozen. The older we are as women, the higher the number of eggs ideally we'd like to have, because we know that unfortunately a higher percentage won't be genetically normal.
So it comes to statistics.
The statistics are important just to understand the reality, right? To understand the reality that having eggs frozen is not a guarantee of future fertility. It's the best way we have of trying to stop the clock, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah. When we're talking to people, I talk to 500 couples a year that want to have a family. Statistically, 80% are going to do this, 20%,
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, when I'm talking to them, it's binary.
Absolutely.
It's yes or no. Mm-hmm. So that conversation is really tough sometimes, because they're like, why me?
Yeah.
Or why not me in the case, right? It's like, they're always like, hey, we're pregnant. Great. But it's the ones that, why isn't this working?
Yeah.
And so I guess the more number of eggs that you have, a number of embryos you have, the more chances you have to get pregnant.
That's right. Exactly.
But it does only take one.
It only takes one. I say that all the time, and it's true. It absolutely is true.
What's the oldest egg you've ever got pregnant?
The oldest woman using her own eggs that got pregnant, or how long the embryo has been frozen?
Oh, both. I didn't think about that one. Throw that one in there too.
I'm hesitant to tell you because I'll tell you, but I have to really.
But it was like a 1 in a million chance.
Well, so that's the thing, right? So she was 46.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and had a successful live birth from her surrogate using her eggs, but she kind of won the lottery. And so that's why the reason I'm scared to tell you that is I think it can lend a false sense of our fertility.
Well, every 46-year-old is going to come to you and you were the one, you got the pregnant, get me pregnant.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
That's it. I've been doing this for almost 13 years, and that's an N of 1, right?
Yeah.
And so the reality is we help women in their early 40s have successful outcomes through IVF. Absolutely. Does it become extremely difficult as we get older, particularly over age 42? It does, right? We struggle to find that normal embryo. So that's why I don't want to be promoting the fact that, oh, no problem, IVF works as we move into our later 40s, because that's a very, very dangerous misconception, and one that I'm often working to dispel when I meet with patients. Particularly, we're talking about TV shows, we're talking about Hollywood. One of the things I think is so damaging is celebrities saying, oh, I got pregnant using IVF when I'm 48, 49. And they did, but what they're not saying is I got pregnant with IVF with donor eggs.
Right.
Right? And so that piece is incredibly important. And I think one of the last remaining stigmas to talk about IVF with donor eggs, and that's something that people unfortunately aren't as open with right now. I think with the Kardashians and some of the stigma around surrogacy has been largely removed, which is great. But talking about IVF with egg donation, I think is really important and something that we need to have as a conversation, because I meet with women all the time who say to me, what do you mean I can't get pregnant with my own eggs? I'm 44 and so-and-so got pregnant. Janet Jackson was 50 or so-and-so was 48. Like, right, but either those were not
frozen eggs.
Right. So either that individual froze their eggs when she was younger, or used an IVF with donor eggs, which is a wonderful way to help people build their families, but often not women's first choice. Right?
And what do you say to women who, again, I'm not a doctor, but they come to me as like, my doctor's told me I've got the internal body of a 30-year-old and they're 43. But
that drives me nuts.
And my egg count is great. And
so I'm glad you asked. So this drives me nuts. One thing that's really important to understand is when we do a blood test and check something called AMH, for example, which is a marker of egg supply, egg quantity,
how many?
Not quality. And so I will often meet with women who are in their 40s who say, oh, my doctor told me my AMH is 3 and I have the eggs of a 20-year-old. That's not how this works. So AMH is a marker of egg quantity. Age correlates with quality. So I think it's actually really dangerous in some ways for general practitioners to be checking AMH levels and telling patients, oh, everything looks good, you have time. It's just not true. So to tell a 40-year-old with a normal AMH, oh, everything looks good, you're fine, that's damaging, because the reality is that time window, they don't, right? The time window to try is really now. And so to tell someone, oh, you have time, you're going to be okay in a year or two, is just really giving them bad advice.
And that's really interesting, because I literally was having a conversation last week with somebody who is 42 and they said my AMH is 3 and my doctors told me I'm good.
Yeah, no.
And I don't want to have a baby now.
No, and to me, that just, it breaks my heart, because that's terrible advice. I mean, it's a great thing that 42-year-old has an AMH of 3. That's wonderful. That is one piece of a much larger puzzle. So to tell a 42-year-old your AMH is normal, you have time to wait, it's not true. They don't have time to wait.
Which brings us back to the TV show.
Yeah.
They froze embryos. They weren't ready to have a baby, but they froze embryos.
Which was the right thing to do if a couple is married and they're planning to parent together. That's the right thing to do.
Don't have to be married, but you want to be together. Just saying.
So if there's a couple...
Having gone through a divorce, just saying.
A couple is in a committed relationship and has had extensive discussion about their goals of parenting together. and are committed.
Say it really quickly.
In a lovely, committed relationship planning to parent. Yes, then create embryos. But if a couple is not sure, right? And again, when I'm saying couple, obviously, I'm in this specific context, we're talking about the show, I'm talking about a heterosexual couple, right? We help all kinds of parents, build their families.
Asterisk, we help every single type of parent every day.
Which is absolutely true. But I think it's really important, and this is relevant with regard to specifically a heterosexual couple when a woman's trying to decide between freezing eggs and freezing embryos.
Yeah. And building your practice and being a successful woman. And, I'm all about that. I love that. I love the way that this show is so, it's like a Kris Jenner TV show. You can tell that. But I love the women's empowerment.
Absolutely.
It's putting women first, doing all those things, which is what this podcast is. It's educating women about their choices. Yeah. And I think what we're trying to do here is not say you got it wrong. We're trying to say love the content.
Absolutely.
But there's a little bit of a tweak here.
But like we were discussing, it's starting a conversation, right? And that's great. Anytime we're bringing fertility issues into part of that public dialogue, I think that's a good thing, provided that people have the context to understand what the reality is.
So for season 3, when you need the doctor, this one here.
Yeah, happy to be a consultation. Yeah, I could consult it.
Or you could be in it.
No, thank you.
You could be the doctor. We're like...
No, thank you. I don't want to play one on TV.
You have a face for TV. Of course you can do it.
That's very kind, but I'll pass. I'll stick to being a doctor in real life.
Both.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. That was really, really kind of you to kind of jump in and help with that.
Of course.
And we'll have you again soon.
Anytime.